Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Davidson-Davie Community College Coaches Show. I'm Miles Poole, along with Coach Josh Allen here tonight. We're coming to you live from Brinkley Gym on the campus of Davidson-Davie Community College. And a great show for you tonight. It's our second show of the year, and we're excited to talk about the start of the season that just happened this past weekend. Our head men's basketball coach and the athletics director here at the college, Matt Ridge, is traveling with the volleyball team who are competing in the district championships. And sitting in tonight for Coach Ridge, as I mentioned, and entering his eighth season as the Storm assistant coach is Josh Allen. We're excited to have you here tonight, Coach. And we've also got Connell Lowry is going to be our first player interview up, and also KT Tatum. Looking forward to those player interviews. And I want to remind you that you can interact with the show. You can ask Coach Allen a question, and I'll be following the live stream over Facebook or YouTube, and we'll try to get to those questions on our social media outlets. So welcome, Coach Allen.
All right, I appreciate you having me here. I know this isn't the usual face you see on the coaches show, but Coach Ridge is traveling with our volleyball team, as you said, so you're stuck with me for tonight. So.
Well, it's a pleasure. But before we dive into Storm basketball, I do want to mention, the Coach Emma Carter and the Storm volleyball team. They're playing in the district championships. I think they're on like a 13-game winning streak.
Yeah, and they went 5 sets in every game in the regional tournament to win the regional tournament to get the chance to play in districts. So it's been one of the best seasons since I've been here. It has been the best season and one of the best seasons in program history.
And if they can make it past districts, they're in the nationals, right?
They would go to Iowa for the national or play in the national tournament.
Well, good luck to the volleyball team, and congratulations to Coach Carter and the Storm women's volleyball team on a great year so far. It's not over yet. Now let's talk some basketball with Coach Allen. All right, Coach. You opened the season on the road with a win against a very good Coastal Alabama North team last Friday on Halloween, 74-58. You held the Coyotes at bay, if you will. They never had a lead in this game. You guys led from the opening tip until the end. What were some things you felt like in that opener that you were able to do to go wire to wire and win by 16?
I think one of the biggest things was our defensive intensity. I think this team really gets after it and plays hard defensively. We have some lapses here and there, but that's just going to come with the territory. It's college basketball. You're not going to be perfect on every possession. But I think the defensive intensity that we brought, pressure at 94 feet, translated throughout the game, and we were able – they wanted to play at a slow pace anyway, so we were able to speed them up at times and get turnovers. There was a stretch there in the second half where we went on like an 8 or 10-0 run that kind of pushed it past 20. And from there, we never looked back. We kind of held on to that lead. We had some turnovers towards the end that made it a little smaller of a lead, but I think it was the defensive intensity that we brought that first game. And I think it was our guys being able to play at an even keel, not playing too high, not playing too low. And I think it really frustrated their guards, and that's what led to our first win of the season.
Now, I mentioned it was a road game. The Snead Classic, I think, is the 2 games. It was a road game. I mean, it was in Alabama, so that's a little bit of a road trip for you guys. What was your travel schedule like? I'm curious to know. And did you have any time to kind of do any shoot around and get comfortable in that gym?
So we did get a shoot around the day of. About 4 hours before game time, we shot around for about 30, 45 minutes. We were in there getting shots up. But our travel schedule, we left here Thursday morning at 5:30, and then we broke down in Atlanta. So north of Atlanta, the bus broke down. Coach Ridge and I walked across the highway basically to Enterprise, and we got 2 vans. So we finished driving the team down to Alabama in 2 15-passenger vans. Tim Willem, who was our bus driver, had to stay in Atlanta with the bus. He got back late Monday night. So our travel that was supposed to be 8 to 9-ish hours ended up being 14 hours.
Oh, wow.
So we went from 5 and getting to Alabama about 6 or 7. So it was dinner, bedtime, wake up Friday. Kind of took a lot more time to get there than we wanted it to. But being Central Time, we did kind of gain a little bit of an hour. But we sat there in Atlanta for probably 2 hours before we got back on the road, which put a little damper in our travel. Well, we were able to get there safely and get back safely, which all that matters.
A little bit of a long twist to get to Alabama. Not the way you want to start the season, right?
No.
But you came away with a win in that first game.
Yeah, first game, we played really well in that first game.
So one of our returners from last year, Jalen Wilkerson, I thought had a really good game. 19 points, 5 of 6 from three-point range. That three-point shot's falling for him. He led all scorers, I think, in the win. Talk a little bit about Jalen's game, if you will, and also really your expectation on what you want to see from him as far as leadership this year.
So with Jalen, everybody, we all call him Jay Wilk. So if I say Jay Wilk, that's what I'm talking about. With Jay Wilk, we all know he can shoot. Everybody in this region, everybody in the nation really knows he can shoot because he put it on display last year at the national tournament as well. What we're expecting out of Jay Wilk this year is that defensive intensity. He's went from last year playing maybe 15 to 18 minutes a game to now he's going to be pushed into asked to play close to 30. So being able to keep up that shooting integrity while playing, intense defense for 30 minutes is going to be a new jump for him, something that he didn't have to do last year. So I'm looking forward to his growth and his maturity and his leadership in that aspect. And in that first game in Alabama, we saw that. I thought he was one of our better defenders, and just his energy and his effort translated throughout the team. So seeing him being able to do that for a whole season is, I think, the next growth in his game. Because if you're going to play at a 4-year, being a 6 foot, 6'1" guard, you got to be able to guard for the entirety of the game. No matter how good you can shoot it, dribble it, pass all that stuff, if you can't guard, you're not going to be able to play. So his growth and maturity in that aspect's what's going to take him to the next step, and I was really excited to see that out of him in our first game.
Well, you also had some newcomers to the team that had good games. Adrian Mays, I think Nigel Howard also had double figures, 12 for Mays, 14 for Howard. Talk a little bit about the youth and talk about their games. Talk a little bit about the youth on your squad this year.
So this is probably one of the younger teams we've had since I've been here. And when I say younger, freshmen straight out of high school. And the two you mentioned with Nigel and Adrian aren't that. They're not freshmen right out of high school. Nigel's coming to us from Barton, and Adrian led our league last year at Southwest Virginia in points and rebounds. So to see them two, get double-figure points it's not a surprise to us. It's kind of what we expect out of them, and we're going to need out of them to win games. And it's even though they're have college experience and they played somewhere else before they came to us, they're still adjusting to playing for us, to playing our style of play, to playing Davidson-Davie basketball. So once they can fully embrace that and fully get adjusted to it, I think their game's going to expand and explode going forward. So those two are guys we're looking forward to having a big season along with our returners, and the youth that we have on this team is still trying to catch up to the speed of the game. The physicality aspect of it, I think they're starting to understand how physical you have to be at the college level. Just catching up to that speed and being able to play at that speed consistently is where we're taking these baby steps to try to get to.
Any parts of that first game you thought we really didn't execute well?
Closing it out. To close out the game, we had a couple of bad turnovers there at the end. When we control the game, we control the tempo, control our offense, get good looks, play good defense, rebound. We started turning it over, leading to runouts or layups for them, which kind of, like I said, we were up 22 at one point. It cut it to a 16-point win, and that was all at the end of the game. I think they went on a 8-2 run to close out the game, and that was where we just have to be able to adjust and play to win, not to lose. So it felt like we were playing and trying not to lose instead of playing to win the game. So once we can get that and play with that confidence and not make those mistakes in late game situations, this team can be really good.
Well, the second game, the next day, we took on the host, Snead State. The Parsons, I think 21st ranked in the country at the time. This one was a lot tighter ball game. I mean, largest lead was 7 points by anybody. I think there were 9 lead changes, 11 ties in this game. So one of those back and forth contests. We were up by 3 at the break, but couldn't hold on. I mean, we eventually fell to the Parsons 71-66. What were the keys for them in that win?
Turning us over.
Yeah.
We had 4 turnovers going into halftime with a 3-point lead, and we came out and turned it over 18 times in the second half. You're not going to win a game at any level turning it over 18 times in a half, and that goes along with kind of how we finished the first game down in Alabama when it was late and we were trying to, hold our lead to win the game. We turned it over, and that translated to the next game. We did the same thing where we had a 4 or 5 point lead with 4 minutes left to go, and we ended up losing by 5. So a 10-point swing in those last 4 minutes with us having careless turnovers, not executing, not rebounding, not getting back on defense, not playing as hard as Snead State was playing. We kind of let it snowball, and we let Snead State's effort outplay our effort, and that led to turnovers, them getting second chance points, and that energy in that gym kind of shifted, and we just weren't able to recover from that. And that wasn't necessarily anything Snead State did to us. It was what we did to ourselves. If you don't take care of the ball, you turn the ball over a lot, you're not going to win games. And that's just what it comes down to. We know going on the road to somebody else's environment, you're not going to get the calls. You're not going to have the fans. You're not going to have the crowd. It's going to be hostile. And through all of that, we still had a chance to win the game, and we just didn't close it out. And that's something that we're going to have to learn going forward with this young group and close out these tight games, because we played a national tournament game in November on the road. So with everything that happened in the game, to lose it by 5 lets me know that this group can be special if they're willing to do that, if they're willing to be that.
So as a coach, what are some things maybe that you do, or maybe you and Coach Ridge did after that loss, to take that moment and turn it into a teaching opportunity for these young men?
Film. Film is one of the biggest tools we can use at any level. We broke down the Snead State game into what we call them reels, so it's about 60 clips we broke down of things they did well, things they did not so well. And, we show them film because Coach Ridge says the eye in the sky doesn't lie. And so when we show them that film and how they take the film, how they look at themselves and their play, and how we played as a team and how they embrace it and to get better depends on them. We can only coach them, give them the film, do all that. They have to take it upon themselves to want to do what we tell them to do to win games. That was one of our biggest things, and we do that throughout the whole year, is let's watch films on what we can do better. Not necessarily saying like, hey, we were bad here, we're bad here, we're bad here. We can do this better, we can do this better, we can do this better. And to be able to see yourself, with this young group, to be able to see themselves, because in the moment sometimes they might not realize.
Yeah.
But to see themselves back on film, back, okay, then this is what Coach was talking about, is a big key for our success. So that's one of the biggest things we can do for this team, and just to keep coaching them hard in practice. We've been focused on trying to get out and transition a little bit more. We scored 66 points and 71. That's not Storm basketball. So once we can get out and transition and turn that defense into offense and actually run the floor, I think they'll get more in a groove and feel a little more comfortable on the court and adjust to the speed of the game. It's hard for freshmen who've never played college basketball to come and go on the road and play a nationally ranked team. That's a tough task for your first 2 college basketball games. So to see how they come out of that, it's going to be special to watch.
Well, you've had a week, or you will have a week, to have gotten ready for the next game, which is going to be right here. It's going to be good to play at home, right?
Yeah.
Saturday at 3 o'clock, Johnston Community College comes in, and they're kind of back in action. I think they played a little bit early last season, but then they canceled most of their season. They're off to an O start this year, losing to Southwest Virginia Saturday and then Virginia Peninsula on Sunday in a close ball game. Have you had a chance to scout the Jags yet?
So we have done the work we can. There's, 2 games into the season only tells you so much about a team. And like you said, last year Johnson played a couple of games. They had guys become ineligible, get hurt. They couldn't finish the season and have a full roster. So we haven't had much film on the coach that's at Johnson because they had a new coach last year. So there's not any film on what he likes to do or what he likes to run because every coach has, their basics or what they do every single year. We know what coaches in our league are going to do every single year regardless of players they have. We don't know that with Johnson. From watching Johnson and what we do know of Johnson, they like to shoot the ball. And for anybody that steps on the court in a Johnson jersey is going to let it fly from the three-point line. Whether it's going to be a good shot, a bad shot, whether it's going to go in or not, they're going to let it fly. And we know that based off box scores and watching them play Southwest Virginia. So it's going to be a little bit of a different Johnson team than it has been in the past just because of the coaching change and the players that they have. But our guys are going to be prepared and ready to play, especially here at home. We've played on the road for the last month and a half, and these scrimmages, jamborees down in Alabama, all we've done has been on the road. So to get a game at home, I know it's going to feel special for these guys.
Well, after that one, you have another one at home on Wednesday. Central Carolina Community College, the Cougars come to Brinkley to play. Now, they were a team that got better, I think, as the year went on last year.
They were.
And gave us a pretty tough game in the tournament. Actually, they were leading at halftime in that game down at Cape Fear before we finally brought home an 86-71 win. What kind of team are we looking for Coach McDougal's going to bring here Wednesday?
So last year he had a very sophomore-led team. He had a lot of sophomores at the guard and wing position. This year his best returner was a 6'5" forward, can handle it, step out a little bit. So based off the games they've played, they're not a typical Central Carolina team. Usually you see a Central Carolina box score and there might be 30 to 43s that they put up. And their first game, I think they shot 18. So it was a lot different style of play, and the game was played in the 70s, which, historically they're not playing games in that low scoring because they're getting up a lot of shots. So this team might be different as a personnel standpoint. The coach is still going to be the same. So, like I said, every coach has their basics. So we should know is what he's going to run with his team. But the personnel is going to be a little bit different for Central Carolina this year, at least based off early games. And 10 games down the season might be completely different. But based off their first game, it looks a little different of a Central Carolina team than we've seen in the past.
Well, the Storm have not lost a home game in Brinkley Gym since February of 2019. No pressure, not putting pressure on you guys. Right. Only 19 times in the 18-year program history, so that's phenomenal. The game next Wednesday against Central Carolina could be pretty historic for the program. I mean, if I think about, you only take them one game at a time, right? But if we beat Johnston Saturday and then can beat Central on Wednesday here at Brinkley, it'll be the program's 500th win, which is pretty special. Is that something as a team you guys talk about, that or the streak at Brinkley? Is that something you guys talk about, or is it really just next opponent one game at a time?
Next opponent one game at a time. Probably not until this moment right here did any of those guys sitting over there know that it might be the 500th win. People on campus would know and some of the supporters would know, and we mentioned at maybe some point early in the season that we haven't lost at home in 81 games, but it was mentioned once, and then we never talk about it again. Because there's no point to put pressure like that on anybody.
Yep.
Just play. We take it one game at a time. The most important game is the next game. So that's how we look at our season and get our guys prepared. Just the most important game is the next game.
Sounds good. Okay, so we're going to take a break from Coach Allen, and we're going to bring up our first player interview,
All right.
Coach, and that's going to be Connell Lowry. Connell, come on up. Connell's a 6'4" forward out of Huntersville, North Carolina. I think the community school of Davidson High School. And Connell averaged 4.4 points a game last year, 2.2 rebounds in his first year in the Storm uniform. Thanks for being here, Connell.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right, let's talk about your freshman season last year, and really what brought you here. What was it that attracted you to this Davidson-Davie Community College basketball program?
I mean, the winning culture, when you come in this gym, you see banners everywhere, and Coach Rich promised me that I'm going to get a lot better here, and that's what I like to hear.
Not only do you see banners in the gym, but you got a trophy case over here too with a lot of trophies. So in your opinion, how did your first year go?
Honestly, I was kind of disappointed that I got injured a couple times, but I'm healthy this year and I'm ready.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Mid-season you started playing, I thought, your best ball, and then you got the injury there toward the end of the season, and that was, I'm sure, tough for you.
Yes, sir.
What do you feel, Connell, are your strengths and weaknesses as a player, and what do you bring to this team as we hunt for that championship?
Yeah, some of my strengths, I think my shooting has improved from last year, and I already shot well last year, so I think I should be able to improve on that this year and shoot maybe 50% from three, I'm hoping. And being a lob threat, I think. Yeah, I want to step into a more leader role for this year as we go for the ring.
As you think about your first year last year, was there someone on the team, when you talk about leader, was there someone on the team that you looked up to that was maybe a mentor to you?
Yeah, that's the leaders we got this year. Our captains, KT and Dane, I always looked up to them, and I feel like this year I got to be what they were for me last year.
I was going to say, how do you play that role on this year's team? I mean, what do you do?
Be consistent, show the guys what to do, get in the gym. You know, you got to do something in order to teach other people how to do it.
Well, during your time here so far, you've been in some big-time games. I mean, we've had some big moments. What would your favorite moment so far be here?
Honestly, my favorite moments aren't even on the court.
Okay.
They're with hanging out with the guys on the bus, you know, eating food and all the other stuff that comes with the basketball.
These guys are good teammates for you, aren't they?
Yeah.
So thinking about this past weekend, so you guys on the road, kind of an interesting trip to get down to Alabama with the breakdown and everything. But tell me about how you thought the team played in that tournament.
I think defensively we played really well, but of course we got to limit our turnovers, move the ball up the court quicker, and shoot the ball better if we want to win the championship.
So when you go on a trip like that, you know, how difficult is it for you as you're more than an athlete, you're a student athlete, right? You know, you're away for a 2-day tournament, but it's probably 4 days away from here. How do you still make the time and make sure you're putting in that classroom work as well?
It's difficult, but we got people like Miss Martin, our academic advisor, and we got some other people we have study hall, so it'll get done.
What does a day in the life of Mr. Lowry look like as a student athlete here?
Get up around 7:30, 8 a.m. class. After class is over, get up, shots, lift, and then go back to the house. Might eat, take a little nap or something, and then get ready for practice.
Are you getting 1,000 shots in a day?
I tried to.
Okay, good.
I'm getting there.
What does a typical practice look like playing for Coach Allen and Coach Ridge?
I mean, they're going to get the most out of you every single day, and I mean, that's the way I'd want to have it. I mean, because if I'm not, then I'm not improving as much as I could be.
What are some goals that you set for yourself this year?
I want to be more of a threat on both offense and defense, I think. Defensively, I know I can still improve, and then offensively, I got to be a consistent scorer, knocking down shots, getting O boards, and just rebounding in general.
How about goals for the team?
I mean, the national championship, of course.
What's it going to take for us to reach that ultimate goal? What do you think?
Like I said, what we needed to prove on this weekend, limiting turnovers, shooting the ball better, and pushing the ball faster.
All right. Well, we'll be pulling for you guys all year long, of course. And good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Thank you to Connell Lowry for being one of our player interviews. Good luck the rest of the season. Now, KT Tatum going to step up. KT is 6-foot guard out of Charlotte, North Carolina, Levine Middle College, high school. Past 2 years, KT has been redshirted due to injury. Welcome to tonight's show, KT.
How are you doing, Mr. Miles? How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great, as great as I can after a hard practice.
You are usually on that part of the camera, right? You do
Yes,
a lot
sir.
of camera work for us here, too.
Yes, sir.
What did it feel like to you to be back in a Storm uniform and be back out on the court this past weekend?
It felt amazing, actually. I've been here a couple years, without actually being able to put the threads on and help the guys on the court. But so that felt great. Definitely want to be able to do more in these next couple coming games. But yeah, it felt amazing.
What did you think about the team's performance down at the Sneak Classic?
I don't want to say this, but unfortunately, I think our some of our aspects of our game was expected. I didn't expect us to lose or anything like that, but some of the mistakes we did, some of the crucial things we, did wrong or kind of didn't do to the best of our ability. We've kind of had practices like that to where we kind of did the same thing. So I think it's a really good learning lesson that we can use.
Well, I'm going to ask you the same questions that I asked Connell about being a student athlete. How difficult is it for you to go on the road like that for an extended period of time and, be able to make sure you're still taking care of your classwork as well?
Me personally, I try to get all my work done before we go on the road or anything like that, just so I can, make that road trip a basketball business trip. So I have nothing else to worry about but basketball. So, yeah, I try to just get all my work done before then.
What does a day in the life of KT Tatum look like?
A day in the life of KT Tatum, it's pretty hectic. I can't tell you my every day's the same, but I try to wake up, at a decent time. I've trying to get better at waking up earlier, but try to get to the gym, get some shots up or lift before class or study hall, head to practice, and then after practice, try to get some shots up later in the gym. And then work at home.
You talk to all these guys over here, and everybody's probably got a little bit of a different story. Tell our listeners your path to how you came here.
My path is pretty insane. If I told someone, they probably wouldn't believe me. But I really quit basketball out of high school. Didn't pick up basketball for 4 years. Kind of went back to the local YMCA, shot a couple times. I was like, oh, I can still shoot a little bit. So I started training back, and then came to one of these open gyms later in the open gym schedule, and was just blessed to have Coach Allen, Coach Ridge, and at the time Coach Dumas give me this opportunity.
What's a practice like playing for these guys?
In words, I can't describe it. Just like our games, man, you just got to come. You just got to come see. You just got to be in the gym and just feel the energy, feel the atmosphere. But it's tough, but as you see, it makes us great.
So your strengths, if I were to ask you, what's the strength that you bring to this team as we chase that national championship? What's your ad?
I think my ad is the leadership role. I think within being 3 years here, I know the system pretty well, on and off the court. So I try to be the best role model I can with my faults, of course. But, and then on the court, of course, I think I have a pretty good vision in passing. I love passing, but at the same time, I do need to improve on it sometimes because sometimes you don't always need to make the highlight pass.
What's your most memorable moment here? It doesn't have to be a game, but your most memorable moment here at Davidson-Davie?
I'm blank right now. I'm be honest with you. I try to think about it before you ask me, but every day is a memory. I think every day I try to take it every day at a time, and just it's so much fun with these guys to my right, Coach Allen, Coach Ridge. It's just every day is fun.
I thought you were going to say it was the DJ Suggs 3-point shot at the buzzer against. That's always my favorite.
No, that was a great one.
So we talked about you redshirting. So you redshirted the last 2 seasons, but even though you weren't in uniform and on the court, you found ways to help this team, right?
Yes, sir.
Talk about locker room leadership and how you found ways to contribute even though you weren't on the court.
Yes, sir. I think as a player who's not, quote-unquote, playing, I think the most important thing you can do is help the team while not dressed. And so I really tried to focus on that and tried to play my role last year and the year before that, actually, and just being a great leader and, energy. I try to bring energy every day to practice and just be that guy people can leech on to, to go forward.
That's one of the things, KT, that's impressed me so much about you in the last couple of years that I've gotten to know you. It's just exactly that. It's just the positive energy, the positive attitude, and again, that makes a good leader. So kudos to you for that,
yes, sir,
young man.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Who did you look up to the last couple of years over as far as a leader on and off the court here?
Leadership on and off the court, I think everybody who comes to this program are pretty pristine guys. So I think everyone who comes to this program, you can really pick and choose the parts of their life. You can really look up to them, But I got to give it to the one and only Cap. number 4, Aiden Taylor. I think on and off the court, I think he's just a great guy, and try to be like him. Being a captain this year, I have some big shoes to fill.
All right, Aiden Taylor, by the way, was the guy who made the pass to DJ Suggs to win that.
Right there, Captain Aiden, right there, unselfish.
Exactly. Personal goals this season, and then maybe after school for you, KT.
Personal goals, ring. I don't really have any personal goals. I just want to ring, and then after school, of course, I want to finish with my. I think maybe after this year, I'll have my 3rd associate's degree.
Okay.
But and then hopefully go on to a 4-year play, finish to grab my degree there, and then hopefully go overseas.
Sounds like a good plan to me. Talk a little bit about family, okay? I had the pleasure the last couple of years at the spring banquet to sit with you and your mom, your grandmother. I met some of your aunts and uncles last year. Talked to your family a little bit after the Brinkley Bash. Your dad, your sister, your girlfriend. It's great to see their love and support for you and you chasing your dreams. Tell us a little bit about family support and what it means to you as you continue with your life journey.
Man, personally, it really means everything. I would not be who I am. I would not be even where I'm at without them. Every single one of my family members plays a huge role in my life, and I look up to every single one of them. Great people first, before anything. They're great people, and then they all do great things. And one of my biggest role models, shout out to my little sister. She might be 10 years younger than me, but her work ethic is insane. I want to be just like her when I grow up.
Well, you got a great family, and I enjoy spending time with them. So, final question for you tonight, KT. Obviously, very early in the season, right? But in your mind, what does this team here to our right need to do in order to reach that ultimate goal of winning a national championship?
I think a couple of these guys, well, really all of us, we need to sit down in a dark room, look ourselves in the mirror, and ask each one of us, do we want it? Because some days we come to practice because we have to. Some days we show up because we have to. But every day should be a thing where I want to do this because I want my future, or I want to do this, or I want that ring. So we have to every day show up like we want it.
All right. Good luck to you. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate your leadership.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
KT Tatum, thank you. Thanks to both Connell and KT for being our player interviews. Nicely done, guys. Now let's bring back up to the mic Coach Josh Allen. Coach, we're going to go back to the beginning for you here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Oh, whoa.
Now, take us back to when you first got hired as an assistant coach here 8 years ago.
Well, I was a lot younger then. I just saw the posting online. It was a college basketball position. I kind of stopped playing, and I was looking for a way to kind of contribute back to the game. And I really just applied, and Coach Ridge, contacted me about getting an interview. I didn't have any expectations or any, goals about it. I was just like, let's see how this goes and what comes about it. And now I'm sitting here 8 years later. So, sometimes it's just you just go with whatever happens. I probably applied to, 10, 12, 15 colleges that same summer. And out of all those applications, you get 4 phone calls and 1 interview. So that was the 1 interview I got. So Coach Ridge took a chance on me, and I'm sitting here now. So,
well, I tell you, 8 years I'm sure has gone by like that for you in the blink of an eye. But you guys have to be really proud if you look back at this 18-year the history of this program, it's an elite program. There's no doubt about it, and you guys have been huge factors. Coaching is a big factor in all of that, but we're glad you came.
Oh, I appreciate that. It was an elite program before I got here.
Yeah.
I just try to do my part and help it stay that way.
Well, one of your responsibilities as coach is to recruit, right? You got to recruit players. How much time do you personally spend recruiting?
I can't. There's no way I can put a number on it. I'm just being honest. This year we haven't really got out and started recruiting yet. Losing an assistant coach, and it's just me and Coach Ridge and the volleyball teams being very successful. There's just we don't have the feet to get moving. But once high school basketball starts up, I'll be out recruiting tomorrow night. So we'll have practice. I'll go home, get a little dinner, then I'll be out recruiting tomorrow night. So once these games start going up, I'm probably out recruiting 3 to 4 nights a week because we're playing a game the other night,
right.
Or So usually if we're not playing a game, I'm out recruiting, and it could be anywhere in the state. It can be all the way out in Kitty Hawk or down in Swansboro or out in Asheville, going wherever, we think we need to go to see a player play. So it's almost every single night. I can't say that it's not. So,
Are you able to use tools like Huddle and that kind of?
to a degree,
Yeah.
Coaches at the high school level don't typically like to send game film. They'll send highlights, and I don't care about highlights. So it's good to go watch a player actually in the environment, because you can see how they come out of the locker room. You can see what they do on the bench. You can see how they react to teammates. You can see how they react to fans, to refs, to coaches. You can focus on what that player does at all times. So you kind of know what kind of player you're bringing into the program past the talent. Because the kids we bring in, we know they're talented, or they wouldn't be here. It's all those other characteristics that, are you going to be a good teammate? Are you going to be coachable? How do you react when things aren't going your way? Certain things along those lines. Going and actually seeing a game and watching them play, you can see all those aspects, good or bad.
Thinking back over the years here, what are some of the more memorable games that you have experienced here?
Well,
it doesn't have to be the DJ Suggs
you
3-point.
you mentioned
I like
that one. Yeah,
that
that was a good one, because it was in our home gym.
Yeah.
It was against a nationally ranked team. It was in overtime. Everything just, set up for it. Everybody in the gym knew that shot was going in. There wasn't no doubt in anybody's mind that shot was going in. We also had the first team that went to a national championship game. We went up to Bryan and Stratton with no fans in the gym, and Isaiah Pruitt hit a game winner to beat Bryan and Stratton and Bryan and Stratton. And then we had to stay there because we got locked out of the locker room. The key broke. So after hitting that game winner, we had to stay at the gym for an extra 2.5, 3 hours before we could even leave. But that was a more memorable one too. And even though you make it to nationals, you lose in the Final Four or Elite Eight or in the national championship, those are memories you're always going to hold on to, because you get to see the players and these young men go to the national level and play at the national level in front of a bunch of four-year coaches. They get to go experience that as a team. So every trip we've taken to nationals has been a memorable moment for me. It's just something that you'll hold on to for the rest of your life.
Well, we asked the players what it was like to be a student athlete here at Davidson-Davie. What does a typical day in the life of Coach Allen look like?
So typically, I'm here at 7:30 every morning because I open up our Love Building, Learning Commons area, which our tutoring, testing, library, trio, a bunch of student services in that building. So I'm here at 7:30 every day, usually off from there between 12:31, 1:30, depending on how busy we are. Take a little bit of time to either go get something to eat or just relax for a moment before practice at 2:15. I'm here at 2:15 to tape ankles. So 2:45, they're dressed and ready. We're practicing at 3. Practice goes until said time. Nobody ever really knows. Be 5, 5:30, 6. Then we might go to film, or as like now, I've been here since 7:30. I've been here 12 hours. So doing this coach show now. So that's normally my typical day is, I work on campus. I get a little break in between to just kind of relax, get something to eat, and then practice, and then either film or going forward recruiting. That's my normal day. I'm here when the sun comes up, and I'm here when the sun goes down.
A lot of sacrifice, a lot of time. But what's the most rewarding part for you as a coach?
Seeing how the players and the young men we have grow. That's the most rewarding part. If it wasn't for watching these young men go to 4 years or go play overseas or to do something like that, it wouldn't be that rewarding. If we just had to deal with attitudes all the time and they weren't putting forth the effort, if they weren't coachable, if they weren't, like, we got the whole team here for this coaching show, if they weren't showing up to things, you'd be disappointed, and you get to the point to where it's like, well, if I'm going to put forth this effort, and they're not, why am I putting forth this effort? So it's rewarding to see how they grow as young men and where they take that into their life and how they move forward to that 4-year or to overseas and how they carry everything from here on forward through their life.
Well, the program here has had tremendous success. We've talked about it. And, it seems like that you and Coach Ridge are not just colleagues, but you're close friends. So we'd like to know what it's like, number one, coaching with Matt or Coach Ridge, but how do your strengths and philosophies on the game support one another?
I think we're both very hard-nosed, old-school, attention to detail. At different levels, there's different levels to it. He can be very intense, I can be very intense, and those might look a little different. But I think we have the same goal in mind. We're trying to win games while we help these young men. We never falter in that philosophy. I think we always have the same goals in mind and the same philosophy. So, we butt heads here and there, but that's typical. Anybody you work with, you're going to butt heads with them at some point, but we have the same common goal, so we can always support what that goal is together. So I think that's one of my biggest strengths, and I'd hope Coach would say the same thing, is just the hard work and the attention to detail, because if you know anything about Coach Ridge, he's very detail oriented, and I'm the same way. So I can kind of, he doesn't have to tell me everything that needs to be done, where I can kind of just do it myself. I mean, I've been here 8 years. Yeah. So you kind of get into the flow of things, and it's gotten easier every single year because you know what's expected.
Who's more intense on the sideline?
That'd be for them to answer. They haven't.
Him, Coach Allen.
Yeah, it gets. I think I would be a little more intense into the game. I think Coach is a little more intense on the players.
Okay. All right. Well, we want to talk one more thing here, Coach. We talk about family, and KT and I talked a little bit about family and how important it is. But the Storm family. Take us through a list of some of our Storm family former players that are currently playing either at 4-year programs or maybe overseas.
Yeah, so since I've been here, there's some that are playing overseas now before I got here, as in Robert Story's playing overseas, Kyle Ridley's playing professionally. I never coached those guys. They were here before I got here. Since I've been here, Javion Jones was playing overseas last year. He's dealing with the ACL injury, so he's rehabbing now. Zai Dawkins is playing over in Luxembourg. You got Aaron Ross and Keith Reese both playing down in Columbia, so both playing professionally. You got Mike Wade and Aiden Taylor both at Monterey College, so they're both playing together there. You got Najee Stroman and Will Gray at Greensboro College. Najee was at Barton with Nigel, and now he's at Greensboro College. Trey Fields is still at Barton. Chase Mebane was at Lenore Ryan, and due to some unfortunate circumstances with reoccurring injuries, he has decided not to play basketball anymore. So he was at Lenore Ryan, and Gene Taylor was at Lenore Ryan with him, and now he's transferred to Mars Hill. And then you got Lamonte Cowser, who's at Winston-Salem State, Ethan English at Winston-Salem State. So we've got, that's just the guys since I've been here that have been going on to a 4-year, and it just helps that a lot of them are still in college, are still playing. But we've been consistent in getting these guys to a 4-year school, the ones that want to go to a 4-year school, that, do their schoolwork and do everything that we ask of them. It's a lot easier for them to get recruited because we're not going to lie on any of these kids. We're not going to lie for them and, mess up our reputation. So if they do what we tell them they need to do, they're going to go on to a 4-year, and we can kind of help them get there as long as they do what, we're asking of them.
It's a great opportunity for these young men, and it's a great statement to the success of this program, right? I mean, you got a lot of young men playing at higher levels, so that's always great to see. We'll follow these guys all year.
Oh, for sure.
So one more thing before we finish up. Is there anything else you'd like to mention for Storm fans, or does the program have any specific needs that the supporters can help us out with?
Well, there's always a need in junior college athletics for money. Like everybody knows, there's always a need for money. So you can contact Coach Ridge if you'd like to donate any money. That's not my territory. For me, it's just support. Come out and support the team. Come out and support your son. Come out and support us as coaches and as a team. Just spend the time to come to our gym to watch us play and give that support, because when this gym gets loud, it's a rocking place, and these young men over here feed off of that. So for families of these young men, whether your son's redshirting, whether your son's playing, whether he's not playing, the support and that time is really appreciated from everybody within the program.
Well, I want to thank you, Coach. You did a fantastic
Sir,
job tonight. It was
appreciate
a pleasure. And certainly thank Connell Lowry, also KT Tatum for being our player interviews, Patrick Stevens for our engineer over to our left, Manuel Tig and his wife here always support the program. And thank you to the listeners for joining us tonight, watching via Facebook and YouTube. Home game this Saturday, 3 o'clock, right here in Brinkley Gym against Johnston Community College. And our next coaches show is going to be Thursday, November 20th, right here in Brinkley. Ronnie Warwick's going to fill in for me that night as a host, and we'll look forward to catch up with you then. Again, thanks again to you, Coach, and for you guys for sitting and sticking this out, and for joining us tonight. As always, have a pleasant night, and go Storm.
Go Storm. Good night.